93% of parents today say they care about their child's emotional growth just as much as their athletic or academic success. Yet most riding instructors are still charging riding lesson prices for something parents will happily invest far more in if it was framed as the personal growth experience it truly is. If you're a riding instructor who loves what you do, but can't figure out how to earn what you're worth without adding more lessons or pushing your horses harder, stay right here, because what I'm about to show you is the single biggest shift I've seen in almost 20 years of mentoring riding instructors. And it doesn't require a single extra hour in your lesson schedule. It's about changing the focus of the time you're already spending in the arena. Here's what I keep hearing from instructors year after year. I can't charge enough for my time, and if I raise my prices, my student will just go somewhere else. Retention is a nightmare. Parents treat riding like soccer practice. They show up when it's convenient. And those riders who aren't really progressing or competing, I don't really know how to make those one-on-one lessons feel meaningful. For them, for me, or for the horses. These aren't bad instructors with bad programs. These are talented horse people stuck in a system that treats riding lessons like a commodity. When you're seen as a commodity, you compete on price, you compete on convenience, and you lose. Meanwhile, the demand for something more is exploding. Parents are actively searching for programs that build their child's confidence, resilience, and emotional intelligence. Youth coaching and emotional support services have long wait lists, and many families simply can't get in. There's a massive gap between what families want and what the market can deliver. And that gap, that's your opportunity. My name is Omri, and for nearly 20 years, I've been mentoring riding instructors and running lesson programs that went from barely scraping by with inconsistent booking to having wait lists. Most of those instructors couldn't just work more hours. Their days were already packed with one-on-one lessons. Their horses were at their limit, and they were exhausted. So instead of adding more sessions, we change what happens inside each session. By integrating this framework, instructors who felt stuck at their current level of demand became fully booked and developed waiting lists for their private lessons, without buying more horses, squeezing in extra hours, or burning themselves out. That shift didn't come from new certificates or fancy marketing. It came from changing how they think about the time they spend with each rider. From just a riding lesson to a personal growth experience with horses. What we developed is a framework called RISE, Riding Integrated Social Emotional Learning. Before you tune out thinking this is therapy, this is not. Social emotional learning tools were originally created for teachers. And what are you if not a teacher? You teach riding, but you also shape how your riders think, react, and make decisions. Here's how this looks in a real one-on-one lesson. Imagine your rider is following a pattern that includes a circle. The horse keeps drifting in, making the circle smaller than the rider intended. A traditional response is use your inside leg. That's a perfectly good riding instruction, but a RISE training instructor sees more in that moment. Instead of jumping straight to the correction, you can use what happened to develop abilities that go far beyond riding skills. You would ask, what do you think just happened here? You let the rider describe what the horse did and why. You ask how they felt when it didn't go as planned. Then together, you talk about what you could do differently next time to help the horse succeed. In that one exercise, you've worked on self-awareness, empathy, emotional regulation, and decision-making, while still improving their riding. You didn't change the pattern, you didn't change the horse, you changed the conversation. It sounds simple, but the real difference is the system. RISE-trained instructors don't just spot these opportunities in real time. They plan and create them intentionally. Instead of just reacting to something that just happened during the lesson, you design lessons with built-in developmental goals, precise language, and a repeatable process that works every single time. Now imagine every private lesson structured this way. You're no longer selling a riding lesson. You're offering a structured personal development process that happens to involve a horse. And that's exactly the experience parents are actively searching for. Now here's why this matters so much. While standard riding lessons typically sit in the 55 to 85 range, parents are already paying $120 to $180 per session for programs labeled as personal growth or youth coaching, with no horse in sight. When you learn to deliver and clearly communicate the kind of personal growth your riders experience throughout this framework, your one-on-one sessions are no longer seen as a hobby lesson. They belong in that higher value category. In other words, the same shift that fills private schedules and create waitlists can also position you to charge premium rates without adding more hours or overworking your horses. Now, some of you might be thinking, this sounds like therapy, and I'm not a therapist. I don't want that responsibility. Well, that's good. You shouldn't be trying to replace therapy. That's not what this is. RISE is about using simple, research-based social-emotional learning tools, the same kind of tools classroom teachers use inside the context of your riding lesson. You stay in your lane as a riding instructor. You just gain a clearer, more intentional way to help riders understand situations, manage emotions, get along with others, and make better decisions. Others might say, I already do some of this intuitively, and that's probably true. Many great instructors naturally touch on these ideas. What this framework gives you is a structure, a repeatable way to plan, deliver, and explain this value so parents understand why your lessons are different and are willing to prioritize and invest in them. To make this approach practical and repeatable for riding instructors, we've organized the RISE methodology into a structured learning process. The program is built around 10 carefully designed models. Each model develops a different layer of the framework, from understanding social and emotional learning in the riding arena, to recognizing key emotional moments during lessons, to designing lessons that intentionally develop confidence, resilience, and decision-making through riding. Step by step, you learn how to transform the lessons you already teach into powerful personal growth experiences for your riders. By the end of this online program, you won't just understand the concept of RISE. You'll have a clear framework, practical lesson structure, and a new professional language that allows you to guide meaningful learning experiences in the arena, while remaining fully grounded in your role as a riding instructor. And that shift is what allowed instructors to turn ordinary one-on-one lessons into experiences that riders remember, parents value, and programs build their reputation on. So here's your choice. You can keep teaching the way you've always have, giving good lessons, working hard, and hoping the numbers somehow start working in your favor, even though your days and your horses are already full. Or you can discover the framework that's helped instructors all over the world turn their one-on-one lessons into powerful personal growth experiences that fill their schedule and build loyal client bases without adding more hours or changing how they ride or teach. Everyone who joined our program gets 1 year of access to our private community, where you can ask questions, seek advice, and join discussions with other professionals. You get free access to our monthly online guest webinars, and you also get full access to riding instructors course materials with no extra charge. We will also give you a social media marketing blueprint for your new RISE program. Now, regular price is $1,599, but because you've watched till the end, get it today for 60% off and pay just $640 in one payment or 4 payments of just $160 each. This offer ends soon, so click below to secure your spot now.